Hey, and welcome to Hopcast.
Thanks for joining us again, everybody.
I'm Brad Chmielewski,
My name is Ken Hunnemeder.
and it's going to be a brownout.
Yeah, I'll say. We've certainly got something going on there. So a couple brown ales, one regular and one imperial.
Double brown.
This is the regular.
That does not look like
It doesn't look regular at all. It's probably the most intimidating beer we've had on the show, for me at least. And we've had pizza beer.
I partially bought this beer, one, because we needed a brown ale. But that label, because you don't find that many brown ales, really. That's not a style, you see that often.
Right.
When you see one as good looking as this, you have to buy it.
Oh my goodness. I think it was working the opposite direction for me.
You would not.
It's like, man, I love brown ales, but ooh.
That one has shit on it.
Yeah.
So this is the brown note from Against The Grain.
Yes, out of Kentucky. However, this is brewed in Maryland, so they must be doing some contract brewing. I'm not sure which brewery is doing it for them. And then we have a special one that you brought for us.
Right, so I went to BlizzCon recently, and this was a 10-year anniversary for Warcraft, brewed by Bottle Logic, and this is the Thunderbrew Anniversary beer.
So it's World of Warcraft, right? Like the
video game from Blizzard.
It's a video game?
Yep.
I didn't know if it was like a role-playing, like live
I guess
action.
you could role-play.
Or like a board game.
People dress up, so I guess they do some live action.
Did you say doo-doo?
They do. Yeah. There's doo-doo involved.
So speaking of doo-doo, I think we're probably going to start with the brown note.
You don't hear that too often. Let's start with the brown note.
5% American brown ale, and then we'll move up to the we've got an imperial guy. Yeah.
Huh.
So
crack it open.
Without further ado.
I'm disappointed by the brownness.
Yeah, less brown than you would think. To me, this looks a little bit in between a brown and an amber. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little too dark for an amber, but
you can almost start to see through it. Cloudy-ish.
Yeah, there's a touch of haze to it. It looked pretty clear pouring it out, but once you get it in the glass, it's a different story. It also it was a little rough to get some head out of the beer. Kind of had to...
Was it a squeezer?
Is this what it's going to be like
all show? I think so. It's not our fault. They brewed the beer. Just following theme.
But then on the aroma, it actually smells more like an English style brown ale. Not too much hop character. There's a little bit in there.
No, very malty.
Yeah, it has more of like the biscuity, toasty, very appealing malt aroma.
Yeah, almost coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
get some of that out of there too.
Cheers. Let's give it a try.
All right.
Huh, much more enjoyable than I was expecting.
Than it looks.
Than it looks, yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice, very very palatable.
Oh.
I think this probably would do well with some warming. A little cold right now for the
steamer.
For the style. Malty beers, just in general, I think I like to. I tend a little warmer. Yeah, I feel like the richness kind of comes out. And it just doesn't get washed away on your palate.
Sure.
But yeah, this is a very balanced beer. A lot of like really complex, different malt characters going on.
Yeah, that's good. And so Against the Grain, we've had before. The last beer we had was just as intimidating because it had feathers. There's feathers all over. There's feathers in our beer.
Yeah, there was.
I think it might have been like the Kentucky Fried Chicken beer or something like that.
Yeah, they wax dipped it, and then after the wax dipping, they dipped it in feathers.
So
and
tarred and feathered.
Tarred and feathered, right? Exactly. And it was just made a mess. It was like, in my hair and in her mouth.
Good thing I think we had a pool to jump in or a hot tub to go in.
Indeed we did.
Time, so.
I remember it fondly.
feel like their labels are always fun, and I see them so often. I always forget like where they're from, and it's weird that they're contract brewing, not out of Kentucky. So
yeah, they must be doing a good amount of volume if they're. Yeah, I'm not even sure what their situation brewery wise is in Kentucky. If they just have a small little place where you can come and drink beers out of a tap room, or and then they kind of supplement with contract brewing for all their bottled and distributed product. But yeah, have you ever been out there?
No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, neither have I. They're fairly new. We were in Louisville.
I think we just drink bourbon.
I think that was before their time, though.
Okay.
That was back on the Hopcast road trip to the southeast.
Yeah, for our sexual chocolate.
That's right.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
It was.
If you've been watching for that long, I'm sorry. Let's come to this.
Just
poo jokes.
Just looking more and more haggard every episode.
Damn, those guys look bad.
Remember episode 1? Fuck.
Should have quit then. But man, I like the labels. I almost never order these beers because there's so many other beers, but I always enjoy their beers. Mm-hmm. They're always good. I don't know why I just don't drink them more.
I like the flavor on this beer. The one thing I would say, I wish there was just a little bit more richness in the body of the beer.
Okay.
Seems a little thin for what they claim to be as the pinnacle, right? The pinnacle of brown ales. No reason to look any further for another brown ale.
Okay.
Really like the flavor. Just would like to have a little bit more backbone on the tongue.
Is there another brown ale? Maybe not pinnacle, but another one that is a worthy contender that you would.
Well, I'd sound like a homer if I answer that question, but let me think of another one.
Are you thinking of Goose Islands?
Yeah, I really like that one.
But again, there's not that many brown ales.
Tough.
When I was looking for a second beer to go with the Thunderbrew, I was like, man, this is really hard to find a brown ale.
You might have to go to English breweries to find them, like a Sam Smith. Kind of classic Sam Smith nut brown ale is a good example. There's not, I mean, some of the American browns I've had haven't been my favorite. Say like Bell's, I think, is a little.
The Bell's Brown?
Bell's Best Brown is a little thin, and I think the New Glarus Fat Squirrel is even thinner than that.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like the same problem I'm running into here. But, yeah, man, I'm stumped right now on a good brown ale. We need to start drinking more brown ales so that people will brew more of them.
People will brew them, yeah. It's such a, in-between style. It's like, well, we can make even a porter there's not that many porters. There's more stouts and there's more hoppy IPAs, light beers, wit beers.
Yeah, I think the American palate kind of lives on the extremes of things, like really dark or really hoppy or really light, you know. So some of these really nice, nuanced in-between styles kind of get lost in the shuffle. And there may be people that make really great ones, but people don't buy it. So if people don't buy it, I mean, it's tough to stay in business.
Yeah. I'll say we finish these up and move on to even rarer, the double brown.
Double brown, right. Yeah, that is I mean,
why?
When do we cross over to barley wine territory? I don't know.
But yeah, let's finish these up.
Cheers.
We flush that down our mouth holes.
We did. Man, how I've been the tame one on this episode. I can't believe that.
Yeah, this is wrong.
I haven't made my noise once.
Yeah. Well, it's time to double down.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, tell us about your nerdy beer here.
Yeah. So I picked this up in Anaheim during BlizzCon. They were selling bottles.
What is BlizzCon?
So it's an event for Blizzard. They throw a big 2-day conference where you can
What's
play.
Blizzard?
Blizzard's who makes World of Warcraft, StarCraft.
Oh, okay.
A couple other games, Heroes of the Storm. And this is their big event where people come and dress up and play their games, and they do like panels, things like that.
It's like Comic-Con, but for games.
For one company. It's like
Okay.
a con for one company.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they
All right.
brewed this beer with Bottle Logic, who isn't too far from the Anaheim Convention Center.
Okay.
And made it out to Bottle Logic before the conference started, and their brewery is really nice. They have tons of beers, very nerdy themed beers.
Okay.
Like their names, so it's fitting, I think, that they brewed a beer with Blizzard.
Did you know about the beer before the conference?
Yes, I had heard that.
So that's why you kind of went out to the brewery to check it out?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we were also thirsty. And you're in Anaheim, and there's nothing over there.
Sure. Gotcha.
Get an Uber, and you tell them to drive you to a brewery. That's what we did.
All right. Well, cool. Not really my scene, but I know there's a lot of people out there that get into that kind of stuff. I'm here for the beer.
Yeah.
So let's drink.
Yeah. So this is a double brown ale brewed by Bottle Logic.
All right.
All right. So that poured out a lot darker than our other note one over there. The brown note.
It did.
Which I guess you'd expect. It's a double, or it's Imperial Brown, so you would expect heavier malt and
Yeah, you
darker
kind of.
malts.
This is what you would expect out of an Imperial Brown beer. There's not a terrible amount of head going on here. This beer comes at about 7.5%.
Yeah, but it smells spicy. It smells holiday-y.
Yes. It made me have to look at the bottle again to see if it mentioned anything, and because I get a lot of allspice off the nose, and sure enough, like way down in tiny little print, it says ale brewed with spices. So
It's like hiding it. Like, don't tell anybody.
right.
And maybe that was just to make it. I feel like the crowd isn't like a beer savvy crowd, so maybe it was like more inviting and more funly themed to go with the fantasy world.
Yeah, just like put a bunch of like fantasy stuff on it and
Spice it up.
Have that be the beer at the convention, and people will like it no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, if it said Blizzard on it, people are like, this is amazing. I love it.
Where do we get that year round?
People were walking around drinking straight from the bottle. Like, not realizing these are like people you would see the night before drinking Budweiser or Miller or cans of Coors, and like they're drinking this from the bottle, and it's like, you're screwed,
Just
man.
wasted.
You're in trouble. Good luck tomorrow.
Well, cheers. Let's dig in.
Yeah, very spiced, but it's very inviting in the mouth, almost vanilla in there.
Yeah, I mean, the spices are very apparent, but I think from most beers that I've had like this, like dark beers that have that kind of like holiday spice blend, this one kind of is interwoven a little bit better than, like, usually it's kind of like your beer here and your spices over here. I think this one mixes a little bit better, and it kind of, for whatever reason, just seems to be a little bit more in balance.
Yeah, I had this a couple times when I was out there. I think the night they released it one night, and so it was mainly available that night. And had a couple, mugs of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I enjoyed it. You're hanging out outside. Just it's kind of chilly because it's California, so it gets dark and gets cold at night a little bit. And
Right.
It's just like kind of warms you up and keeps you going.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That they balance this well with the...
Yeah, because we've talked about that thing. The spice thing is not my go-to type of beer that I like to drink, but I think they've done a really nice job of incorporating however they introduce this spice blend to the beer. It's really good.
And then, when I made out the Bottle Logic, we ordered like all their beers. We were like, "Yep, give us." if we don't try them, like whatever, it's or if we don't finish them, it's like, oh, it's vacation. We're ordering an Uber,
Right.
Because everything's far away in California, so you
Right.
got to drive. And all their beers were really good. I think at the convention we had their Pistol Pilsner, and that was tasty. That was just a nice, light, easy drinking beer. They're a good
Cool.
IPA.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard of the brewery, so that's good to know. Oh.
They're not too far, I guess. Too far from the brewery, the actual brewery. The brewery, this brewery.
Oh,
that brewery,
wow,
the brewery.
That's a good thing that you have that on there.
I think they're like on the opposite sides of the stadium over there.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I guess nearby.
Cool. Yeah, we've been out there, so I'm familiar with the brewery.
But not this brewery.
Right.
So confusing, man. Why'd they do that?
That's such a dumb name. It's such a dumb name.
Your last name's stupid.
I'm just so confused. And it's not good because I'm easily confused. So when you put something confusing in front of me that's like confusing to most people.
And you add drinking
onto
that.
Come on.
Simple people. But yeah, double brown, Imperial Brown Ale. Mm-hmm. It's a style that I don't think I've ever had another Imperial Brown, or that I've remembered.
I want to say I've seen it before. I couldn't tell you which beer it is. We were kind of, when we're talking about this beer, like which brown ales are good.
Yeah.
We kind of just like had a brain fart.
There you go.
Just because we haven't really drank those beers in a while, but so we went through a list and looked at some of the available brown ales.
Bender was one that we kind of forgot.
Right, the Tumbler Brown from Sierra Nevada, which is one of their seasonals, is one that I really like a lot.
Okay.
There's obviously the Dogfish Head Indian Brown, but that's kind of like in its own little category because it's really hoppy brown beer.
I think that was the top rated one, but
of course,
it's got hops.
Yeah.
It's from Dogfish Head.
Moostrel, another really nice brown beer.
Okay.
Maeve liked the Alaskan, the Kodiak Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, Midnight Sun. That's all Alaska.
Alaska.
The same brewery. So there are some options out there for good brown beer. Just not a whole ton.
Right. So we need a campaign.
Right. Bring back the brown beer.
Bring back the brown.
Start the hashtag now.
Yeah. Bring back the brown. We may get a different group of people.
I'm sure we will. To choose our hashtag wisely.
Yeah. But the Thunderbrew, you probably can't get your hands on this because it was brewed for the party, released at BlizzCon. It's their 10th anniversary of World of Warcraft. So if you ever see a friend with it, definitely give it a try because it's super limited beer.
Yeah, it's so fucking rare.
It's so rare, man. Trade whatever you got for it.
Yeah, for sure. So
I just cut in line for it.
But yeah, Bottle Logic, a brewery that I wasn't really familiar with, apparently making some good beers. I like this one. Trust this guy to tell me that all the other stuff is pretty tasty too. So if you're out in Anaheim, maybe you're checking out the brewery, make sure you give these guys a little visit while you're out there.
Yeah. Cheers and thanks for watching.
Cheers.